Hello, dear friends. I hope you're doing real well. Let's continue reading. We are in the book of Numbers, chapter 25. We read till verse 8, but I'm going to start reading from verse 6. Now, this chapter, number 25, is really sad because God has blessed Israel so beautifully, so powerfully, but because Balaam, the pagan prophet from Syria, wasn't able to curse Israel, now he gave this horrible advice to Moab and to the people of Moab and the women of Moab and the women of Midian. Actually, to their kings, right? The plan was that the women of Moab and Midian, I don't know how to say it, seduce, call the men of Israel to their parties, to their dinners, to their idols. So they eat whatever is sacrificed to the false god Baal Peor, and they participate in, in the worship. They fornicate with the women of Moab and Midian, and they worship the false god, and really bad, really bad. After all the blessings, after everything, this happened. So, because many of the men of Israel are still doing this horrible thing, this idolatry and fornication, God has told Moses to execute those that have done this thing. While all this is happening, one man of Israel from the tribe of Simeon brought a Midianite woman to the camp of Israel in front of the tabernacle where God dwells, in front of Moses, in front of the congregation. This man of Israel took this Midianite woman to his tent to do you know what? They're not gonna read a book. They're not gonna read a book. They're gonna do you know what, right? In front of all Israel, in front of God. So this is too much. So let's read, right? Then behold, one of the sons of Israel came and brought to his relatives a Midianite woman in the sight of Moses and in the sight of all the congregation of the sons of Israel, while they were weeping at the doorway of the tent of meeting. When Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, saw it, he arose from the midst of the congregation and took a spear in his hand. And he went after the man of Israel into the tent and pierced both of them through, the man of Israel and the woman through the body. So the plague on the sons of Israel was checked. So there was a plague going on while this happened. Those who died by the plague were 24,000. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, has turned away my wrath from the sons of Israel, in that he was jealous with my jealousy among them, so that I did not destroy the son of Israel in my jealousy. Therefore say, Behold, I give him my covenant of peace, and it shall be for him and his descendants after him a covenant of a perpetual priesthood, because he was jealous for his God and made atonement for the sons of Israel. Now the name of the slain man of Israel, who was slain with the Midianite woman, was Zimri, the son of Saulu, a leader of a father's household among the Simeonites. The name of the Midianite woman who was slain was Cosbi, the daughter of Sur, who was head of the people of a father's household in Midian. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Be hostile to the Midianites and strike them, for they have been hostile to you with their tricks, with which they have deceived you in the affair of Peor, and in the affair of Cosbi, the daughter of the leader of Midian, their sister, who was slain on the day of the plague because of Peor. So, finally, there was a plague because of this horrible situation, horrible idolatry, sin against God. How are you going to do that, Or at least, they did, it's like they were out of control. It's really, they were out of control. There was no stop there. There was no way to stop it. They were keep going, going. So much that this Israel man, no shame, shameless, brought this Midianite woman who also was no shame, no shameless, to the camp of Israel in front of the tent of meeting, in front of God, in front of Moses. He brought her to sin, to commit fornication. They were not going to read a book in the tent. They were doing that. Well, this the son of Eleazar, he brought his spear and pierced them both, So there was a judgment. 24,000 died in the plague. And then the interesting thing is that Lord spoke to Moses saying, that you should be hostile to the Midianites. So we know Moab and Midian are in this trick, in this deception, that they have deceived the children of Israel. Obviously, the men of Israel, nobody forced them to sin. They sinned voluntarily, right? But they were tricked. They were deceived by the women of Moab and Midian. But it seems that the Midianites had more responsibility, because the Lord is not saying be hostile to Moab. He's saying be hostile to the Midianites. So the Midianites had more responsibility in this deception. And we're going to know later, I think in chapter 30, 31, and I'm not sure which one, that Israel is going to fight with Midian. And one of those killed in this fight, in this battle, guess who? Is Balaam, the pagan prophet. I mean, I know he's not from Midian. The Bible tells us he's not from Midian, but for some reason he was there with the Midianites. And one of those killed is Balaam. And he's the one, the pagan prophet, that gave this horrible advice to Moab and Midian to deceive the men of Israel. So, judgment. Next chapter, dear friends, is a census, a new census. Now Israel is in the plains of Moab. The first census was in chapter 1, when Israel was in the Sinai, right? Now the 40 years are over, dear friends. 40 years after, there is a census. God is going to tell us that in this new census in the plains of Moab, where they are now, everybody's new. The only old ones are Joshua and Caleb. Obviously, Moses is still there, but see, Moses doesn't count because Moses is a Levite. The people in the census that I count are everybody but Levites, right? So Moses doesn't count. Moses is still there. The only ones left from the previous generations are Caleb from the tribe of Judah and Joshua, who is from Ephraim. Everybody else is new. The old unbelieving generation has died already. Okay? And actually, because this chapter, this chapter 25 was kind of difficult about idolatry, fornication, we're going to go and read something very relevant to that. And I totally forgot to do that in my other reading, but I'll read it next time. And it is relevant, dear friends. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 12, I think it is. Let me see. Okay. And now this is for us now, okay, for everybody. Well, if we love Jesus Christ, if we have received his salvation, all things are lawful for me, but not all things are profitable. All things are lawful for me, but I will not be mastered by anything. Food is for the stomach, and the stomach is for food, but God will do away with both of them. Yet the body is not for immorality, but for the Lord, and the Lord is for the body. Now, God has not only raised the Lord, but will also raise us up through his power. Do you not know that your bodies are members of Christ? Shall I then take away the members of Christ and make them members of a prostitute? May it never be. Or do you not know that the one who joins himself to a prostitute is one body with her. For he says that two shall become one flesh. But the one who joins himself to the Lord is one spirit with him. Flee immorality. Every other sin that a man commits is outside the body. But the immoral man sins against his own body. Or do you not know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have from God, and that you are not your own, for you have been bought with a price. Therefore, glorify God in your body. Okay, so that's it for now. Hopefully, we can continue tomorrow with next chapter 26. Bye-bye.